Alrighty, so the Los Angeles Clippers, after a pretty rough loss against the Atlanta Hawks, we faced the Detroit Pistons, like one of the, you know, it has the worst records in the NBA, respectfully, but they have some interesting, young, promising talent. So essentially, pretty much like the first quarter, the energy was on the Detroit Pistons side. They were making their shots. We were like, it would get so bad that it would be like what, like when we score our first bucket, but then it would be like 2 for 32. The Clippers would have 2 points, and the Pistons would have 13. But then second quarter and third quarter, we kind of gained some momentum on our side, and then fourth fourth quarter, that's when things got that's when things started going up, and we just officially like claimed our um, W against the Pistons, which is we need those W's. Like we need, like just do whatever it takes to get out of that playing tournament. So we actually secure a legit playoff spot, and Kawhi and PG hopefully they return. But anyways, I'm gonna try to take a little twist. Um, Shout out Clip Gang or Don't Bang for this technique, because for this case, I'm gonna just look at the stats, but I'm gonna go player by player like how I usually do. But I'm gonna show you this one little highlight that Cade Cunningham did. Like, rarely, I don't plan on doing film too much if I'm being really honest with you, but like, it was like a really interesting highlight. Also, definitely shout out Clip Gang or Don't Bang for this one, because hey, he be adding some perks to his vids, and it's pretty fire. So if y'all haven't checked him out, check my boy out. So this is kind of like one of the plays that Cade Cunningham did on a Vika Zubac. So here, I'll show you this one. Like, boom, boom. All right, it's Cade. Boom. That's Zubac. And then boom, boom, boom. And then did that little fake. That little fake on Zubac, and Zubac kind of big. He did what he could, and then bam, just out of lay. Which is, I mean, Cade is a pretty, like, from what I've seen, like he's more like an all around type player. Like, um, he definitely shown that he could like score the ball, but he basically almost got a triple double. Well, technically got, let's just say he got a triple double. Like, one rebound away. Like, he got 10 assists, 9 rebounds. I forgot the exact point. Well, that's the reason why I'm gonna be borrowing the stats for this game. So let's check out all these stats. So pretty much Nick Batum, he had a little, like, he wasn't really, like, in terms of scoring, it didn't look really pleasant whatsoever. Had 1 for 6, but he was good, like, all around. Like, his assist, rebound was not too high. Defense was pretty solid, and apparently he got a plus 11. And then Marcus Morris, he went 10 for 19, which is, he was getting all the buckets. He dropped 31 points. You can see he hit all his free throws. His 3-point shot was pretty efficient. His rebounding was pretty good as well too. He even got like 2 assists, and He did what we would love to see Marcus Morris does. Like Marcus Morris is like that really good power forward to have on your team. Like, he could, he has that nice, beautiful stroke, like in terms of when he shoot the ball, and he's really good inside, like his mid range. Like, he does his nice signature post fadeaways, and also like one thing that I like what Madara slash Clip Gang Don't Bang says about Marcus Morris is he is a really underrated like small forward slash power forward, because like he is literally like he literally could be any team's third options. Um, he's like if you like would love to have like a good veteran enforcer that could shoot the ball and do a lot of the dirty work. Marcus Morris could be your guy, but the problem with Monk is like he has a decent amount of swing factors, and like when he's off, it's not really pleasant. But thankfully, like for the second year, I want to say, yeah, second year technically, because yeah, it was like the only time we really got to see Marcus Morris is when it was like in the bubble in the last game before COVID hit. But so I'll just say second stint with the Clippers. So well, second year. So basically, like second or yeah, second year. Like second year, like he improved a lot compared from last season. Because last season he would have way more swing factors, but um, like one thing is Marcus Morris, like when he was off, it was just mostly due to his knee injury, so it would result for a slump. But when he's fully healthy, he is pretty solid, and he is really reliable to have. And sometimes he looks like he could be an all-star. Now, Ivica Zubac, um, he had 14 points, and one thing he definitely improved on, like what he definitely did really good on, is rebounding. As y'all can see, he got a whopping 15 rebounds, that is really crucial for a guy like Ivica Zubac. Like he could definitely work on in terms of rim protection, since in this game like a lot of players, especially players like Marvin Bagley, got a lot of points from inside the paint, but Zubac did got a good amount of rebounds, and his playmaking seems fairly solid. One thing we would love to see Zubac do is definitely expand his range, if not 3-pointer, at least mid range, because if Zubac could have those, that would be really, really, really nice. And if Zubac could definitely have the range, at least if it's the mid range, he could be kind of how a Pau Gasol was for the Lakers, like because like honestly, Zubac low key could be is honestly low key a Pau Gasol minus uh range, because Pau Gasol he's that's fairly smart center that that will get basket in the paint and all that. He's not the most athletic. His defense could be pretty clunky as well too, but he would pretty much essentially do his job. And one thing that Pau Gasol that Zubac does not have is decent a decent amount of range, especially the mid range. And if Zubac could incorporate the mid range, I legit think he could be a Pau Gasol. Honestly, another comparison I also like to compare to Zubac is but this is when Zubac's actually playing pretty good defense, is probably um like a Rudy Gobert minus all the hype and the big contract, because Gobert and Zubac, they literally honestly have the same play style, honestly, except that Gobert obviously is longer and all that, but they're both fairly slow. They both get their points inside the paint. They both would kind of struggle to defend outside the paint, especially in the perimeter, because they're both old school bigs. Am I saying Zubac is better than Gobert? Not yet, but it's always possible. It's always possible. But yeah, that's one thing that Zubac can definitely work on is obviously mobility. If Zubac gets mobility, that would be one of the best things that could definitely happen. And now let's go with Reggie Jackson. Now Reggie Jackson, once again, he played 40 minutes, which is, I don't know, because I don't want to see Reggie Jackson end up with a fatigue or something like that. But anyways, Reggie Jackson, he did his thing, dropped 15 points. He got 9 assists, that is a huge plus. He also played really good defense, got 2 steals, and he got a nice block as well too. And he only turned the ball over 1 time, which is pretty solid, pretty solid. I know he didn't score like as much as you usually do, but he did really good like all around. He got 8 rebounds, which is considering him as a point guard, like, hey, that's pretty good. Now the homie Amir Coffey. Now Amir Coffey, like, his stats does not look pretty whatsoever, but if you actually watch the game, he was pretty solid. Like, Amir Coffey, like, he's starting to run point guard more, and that's what I like to see because, like, I would rather have Amir Coffey run the actual point guard and Reggie be more like the shooting guard because, like, when Amir Coffey runs the point guard, he is decently smart with the ball. He would definitely like create some type of flow in the offense, like create some ball movement, which would result a wide open guy. And his assist is actually like kind of showing like 4 assists, which is pretty promising. And like he also has really good hustle as well too. And like, hey, Amir Coffey, he's definitely like, he honestly low key should become the most improved player of the year because like literally in the beginning of the year I was like, ooh, I was losing that Amir Coffey was getting minutes because my man Jay Scrub, bro. Uh, prayers for that man Jay Scrub because that's another topic. But anyways, he was getting minutes over my man Jay Scrub. So and because Jay Scrub was not getting no minutes, so I was like, what the heck? How is Amir playing minutes over that man Jay Scrub, who's basically kind of does what Amir Coffey does, but Scrub is more of a really great bucket getter, and has more of the higher upside. But hey, Amir is showing his worth, so that's really good for him and the Clippers. So hopefully he can stick around for a little while. But he has that really good versatility. Like Amir is honestly kind of like I would give him like 2 or 3 comparisons. Like he is honestly like a really um like a Goodwill like okay, scrap that. He's basically like a way less athletic Ben Simmons, but has a jump shot because Amir Coffey and Ben Simmons, they both have similar size. They both could pass the ball pretty good. They're both essentially like kind of like forwards. They both play pretty solid defense. Um, but Amir, he has his shot. But Ben Simmons, he has yet to have a 3-point shot. But of course Ben Simmons, he's more proven. He's way more athletic. He's more bigger. But Amir Coffey's honestly like a Walmart version of Ben Simmons with a jump shot. And another comparison I give to Amir Coffey is he's honestly like a Nick Batum, which is he plays on the same team, which is because Batum and Coffey, they both are, they're wings slash power forwards. They both shoot stationary threes, and it would go in at times. I know Amir Coffey didn't have the best field goal percentage, but they're both like pretty high IQ players, and so that's my 2 comparisons for Amir Coffey. Just let me know what you think about the Amir Coffey comparisons. Now we got Hartenstein, who did pretty solid actually. Like especially like for the Pistons, they were kind of like on a fast paced side of the spectrum. Like so, Hartenstein in a way kind of helped with that, and he also brought the juice because he was getting the buckets and he was bringing the energy. So that's a good plus for a guy like Hartenstein, who also should definitely stick with the Clippers for a little while, for sure, at least. And then we got Terrence Mann, who didn't really do too much in terms of the scoring, but he always brought hustle to his game. So That is a big plus. And as he pretty much did all the nice dirty work. And now Luke Kennard, basically like the second or the third best player of the game, and he was lighting it up. He was straight up like lighting it up. He was like ultra efficient. He was doing everything else. He even like his playmaking is also like improving as well too. As it resulted to I forgot who won him not. Oh, the man Brandon Boston Jr. Like he managed to get Brandon Boston Jr. like a midi, which is that's a big plus. That's a big plus. And Luke Kennard is another dude who improved a lot compared from right now to beginning of the season because look, Luke Kennard was another guy that I was like pretty quick to judge because again, my man J Scrub was getting no minutes whatsoever. So I was like, yo, like get my man J Scrub some minutes, and like not play Amir Cuff and give some of Kennard minutes to J Scrub, but and Luke, I'm not gonna lie, he improved tremendously. Like from the beginning of the season, like I would see Luke Kennard as more of like a really good spot shooter. But as soon as you put a lockdown defender on him, he would kind of somewhat fold, which is it showed growth for a guy Luke Kennard because now compared to right now, Luke Kennard you could just put a really good defender on him. Luke Kennard will still swish it, which is that's a really nice improvement for Luke Kennard. Now, let's go to Brandon Boston Jr., who I still feel he is way too underutilized, okay? Because look at the starter minutes and look at my man Brandon Boston Jr., which is, he definitely could take some load of a lot of these players because, it could definitely, prevent an injury and it could, actually utilize the talent because Brandon Boston Jr. he really is like that. But he hit that one nice mid range. He even got a really he even got a block, which is it shows that he plays really good on the both sides of it, and despite the stats because he only played 7 minutes. Definitely play this man more because when you play this guy more, I promise you, he's gonna produce, and he's definitely gonna be a Clipper for life for sure. Clipper for life, yes, Clipper for life. Now let's go to the Detroit Pistons a little bit. So as you can see, they actually did pretty solid, especially Marvin Bagley, who showed flashes of really good athleticism, but there are moments when Zubac just took him down low, and Zubac just took a nice, beautiful hook shot on him. So but Bagley, he did pretty solid. So who knows? He could definitely revive his career in Detroit. Now, Jeremy Grant, who is a really great role play, a star role player. He shown he could defend a decent amount of positions. He shows a lot of versatility. He could defend. I remember I seen plays when he defended Zubac, which is Jeremy Grant has a freakish wingspan, 7'3", which is ooh, and he could drain it from the three. He could just do a lot of things, and low key, I would love to see Jeremy Grant become a Clipper, but at the same time though, the Pistons are just gonna ask for our young guys, and no way I'm willing to give up Brandon Boston Jr. or Jay Scrub. Yes, I still stand 10 toes on Jay Scrub, but that's that. But who knows? Hopefully he can be a free agent. Hopefully we can somehow steal Jeremy Grant because ooh, he's a pretty nice player and just a pretty good greedy player to have. And Sadiq Bey, he didn't really do too much, but he made some threes, which is pretty solid. Yeah, he seems pretty solid for this Detroit Pistons team. He could be a really good wing. if you want to spot up shots, Sadiq Bey could be that guy, kind of like a Jay Crowder type vibes. Or I don't know, maybe I'm just on something right now. But anyways, Corey Joseph, he went 3 for 10, which is fairly inefficient, but he was, eh, I mean, he didn't really do too much, but he got 6 rebounds, got some assists. So I guess like towards his standards, he's just um, a fairly solid role player. And Kate Cunningham, he was pretty good all around. Like he's shown that he could get buckets, but he could do a lot of other things. He could pass, he could play make, he could get rebounds. Like he's basically a definition of versatility, and he's shown that he's a pretty good, well-rounded player. And being well-rounded is really, really good. And now we're gonna nothing really too much to say about the bench. They got Kenny Olynyk, which is solid, I guess. Nothing too special. Isaiah Livers, another young player. Um, another fairly solid player. And then Saban Lee. Um, nothing really too much. Um, just nothing really too much special. But I did hear Saban Lee is fairly solid for the Pistons, especially like one of the G League games. He kind of went off. Luka Garza apparently he did not play any minutes, which is like low key. If I was Dwayne Casey, I would have definitely played some Luka Garza minutes because he is a pretty solid big man that could pass the ball, and I don't know if he could space the floor, but he could definitely pass the ball, and shown capabilities that he's a solid player. But anyways, this is just gonna wrap up this video. I know it was a pretty fairly sloppy game for the Clippers, but thankfully we pulled this off, and we face the Cleveland Cavaliers tomorrow, and ooh, the Cavs are a pretty tough team because I got them. Like I remember I made a video about them, like just saying, hey, the Cavs are gonna go to the finals after they got Karis LeVert. Like hopefully, if they actually go to the finals though, that'll be really tough for them. Who knows? Maybe that video could go viral, and it'll be sweet. But I low-key got them as a dark horse team because I just like how well-rounded they are. But looks like teams like the Celtics are climbing up, but we'll just see what happens. And yeah, like I said, just let me know what you think about the game in general. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll try to get with y'all in the comment section. As y'all know, have a great night.